Good morning. I procrastinated and I did not make a video for this week, and I didn't want to leave you all high and dry, so I figured I would record while I am getting ready. Friday morning, I am going to Boston for the weekend, and I figured that I would just catch up with all of you. Today, I've been 50 years old for about 2 weeks. And I kind of was preparing before I turned 50 to be 50. Something that was looming over my head for the last year, in 2025, was retirement. And I, like most of you, was like, oh, well, I don't need to deal with it yet. Wrong. So now I feel like I'm late to the game. And so about 6 months ago in April, my husband and I worked with what is it called? It's called not investment broker, Northwestern Mutual, I think, is our company. But we reached out to them and we set up for our retirement just to get something going. We got life insurance, finally. We also are invested in mutual funds. We have a Roth IRA. We started a high yield long-term savings, and we have an emergency fund. And we both have 401k. So I haven't done all the math. I just started the ball rolling. So we've been doing this for about 6 months, and I see growth. I see progress, which makes me feel better. It's not so urgent in my mind. But I was looking into it, and you really have to figure out a lot of things. So it's not like just real quick. It's, you have to calculate your bills, your debts. You have to calculate what you want your life to look like when you retire. And being 50 years old, and my retirement age is 67, so that leaves me 17 years to catch up. And I have heard you need like $1 million to retire, but it's not necessarily true. It depends on what you want your lifestyle to look like. So if you have everything paid off, then you don't need that much money, and I'm also working on my health, and I have been working on my health for a long time. So I don't planning on having a lot of prescription bills and doctor's bills and stuff, because I'm working on prevention, and that in itself saves thousands a year on medical costs. And lifestyle, I thought about this a lot. I talked about this a lot with my husband, and we don't want to live extravagant lifestyles just because we can. We just want to be happy. We want to be healthy, and we want to have purpose in our life when we're older, not just being frivolous and traveling. And I'm not saying that's frivolous. I'm just saying, like, we don't want to drink champagne on a ship or anything like that. We both want to retire in Portugal, which is, a simpler life, a slower life, kind of after, working 9 to 5 since I was 15 years old. Not really 9 to 5, but I've been working since I was 15 years old. And so I've only had 15 years of freedom out of 50 years. And I'm tired. Like, I want to be young enough when I retire to enjoy my life. And I just want to do simple things, slow living, enjoy nature, enjoy little concerts in the park or whatever, And I do want to travel, but not for like months at a time. I just want to visit a place and go back home, so nothing extravagant. So I think that even though we started late, we're going to be fine. I have calculated, I have used ChatGPT to kind of go over the numbers too. And when I did it, I lowballed just to make sure that the bare minimum would still be enough. That way it takes the pressure off. So yes, I work full time. My husband works full time. And we are saving. We're not breaking the bank saving like they tell you to catch up. But any extra bonuses, any unexpected money that we come into will go into retirement. But we still plan on enjoying our lives and not just cutting out all the fun and focusing straight on savings. But I do have some news to share with you all. Out of the blue, my husband got a job offer. And so he's accepted. And this was the day after my birthday. Completely out of the blue, completely unexpected. We live in North Carolina. And the job is remote, but eventually they want everyone to move. And we are moving in about a year's time. We're going to give ourselves plenty of time to pay down debt, save up some money before we do this cross-country move to California. And mind you, I've always said my whole life, I will not live in California. They don't have their own water. The price of living is ridiculous. And it just wasn't going to happen. It was too hot. So I only know the Irvine, California area. Los Angeles, Long Beach. Those are the only areas of California I've ever visited. I can't say that. I have visited other places, but that's my basic understanding of California is that area. But the job would be in the Bay Area, which we're going to visit in January. He has family who lives out there, and his new job is with his family. And it's in a completely different field, and it's quite the opportunity, and he would regret it if he didn't accept it. So he starts November 1st. Then he'll work from home for a year. He may have to go out there a couple times for work or whatever, but then we will work on moving. So I started that yard transformation, and now I have to figure out, because I'm a planner. I now have to plan and unplan all the plans I had. So that's going to be a lot of work. We have to prepare the house to sell, which is unexpected, but all of these are good problems to have. This is an amazing opportunity. And you just got to roll with the punches. You got to pivot when life calls you to pivot. Change is scary. We've been terrified, but we will get through it. We will plan it. We will do it thoughtfully, mindfully. We will take each step as it comes. So that's the update on that. But as far as finances go, what is your biggest worry with your finances being midlife? Have you started preparing yet? Am I behind? I do worry about that. But we have something set up so it does, calm the anxiety a bit, just to know that we've started. We have started somewhere. We haven't. I think the worst part is ignoring it, because the anticipation of dealing with it is so much worse than actually just sitting down and looking at what is in front of you. You really have to know where you're at to know how far you need to go, or to know how far you've come. So, like I said, you don't need $1 million necessarily to retire, but it's something that you need to address eventually, and why not now? If you just turned 50, if you're in your 40s, whatever age you are, you really need to sit down, whether it's yourself or you and your partner or you and your whoever. You really need to sit down and see where you're at. We are paying off debt. We have been paying off debt for the last year. I have a debt consolidation program because my anxiety around my debt every single day was overwhelming, and I knew how long it would take me to pay it down if I did it on my own. And I was forced to kind of use a debt consolidation company just for peace of mind. And I should be done paying down my debt next year, which a lot of work, a lot of patience, a lot of stress. But, every time I get paid, I know my bills are getting paid. I know I'm one step closer to being debt-free. And it's not easy, but it's also not easy to do it by yourself. So if you're struggling and every dollar of your paycheck is going towards your bills, you really need to look at who can help me in this situation. Sometimes you need to get extra income, get a second job, sell some of your stuff, move, whatever you need to do. There's tons of resources online. There's tons of videos. There's a couple people, and I can't think of their names, but they're really good to follow. And one of the guys, he's a religious guy. I can't think of his name. Ramsey. He says you're gonna have to be living on rice and beans. Well, it's a choice you have to make. Do you suffer now to enjoy later, or do you enjoy now to suffer later? It's a personal decision, and it's something that if you keep ignoring it, the anxieties are not going to go away until you actually sit down and deal with it. And so I am grateful that I did. And it was only 6 months ago. I only dealt with this 6 months ago. But now that something is set up and in place, and it's doing its thing without me stressing out about it, I feel so much better. So I highly, highly encourage you. If you have not yet sat down and looked at your finances, where you want to be, how much you need to save, if you have any savings at all, it really is the best time. The best time was yesterday, but the second best time is today. So I got to finish getting ready, pack up, head out. I hope you all have a great week, and I'll talk to you soon.